Yeah, and the Yankees are one of them, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Oswaldo Cabrera.
The Diamondbacks as well. You're just going to have to play 9 clean innings to beat.
No, Diamondbacks are a very, very good team. Third inning, Anthony Volpe, first career 4-hit game. He's been great to start the season at the plate.
Trivia question, who's leading MLB in batting average?
I'm going to say Anthony Volpe.
Bingo.
Next batter, Austin Wells. Sac fly, run scores. Volpe is going to go to third on a throwing error. And then another run scores on the error there. That's definitely not emblematic of Diamondback baseball.
Tomorrow.
So it's now 5-0. And by the way, Luis Gil was throwing 100. I'm just saying.
Torrey might have those guys out on the field this morning.
Bottom of the 7th. Diamondbacks are down 5-1. Bases loaded. Ketel Marte. Sac fly, run scores. That's the lead to 5-2. Home half of the 9th. Yankees, an out away from 5 consecutive wins to start the season and doing it on the ROAD. 5-2. First time since 1992 that the Yankees are 5-0. Take a look here in the storied franchise history of the Yankees. Longest win streaks to begin a season. Right now, the 2024 Yankees in the mix, tied with the 88 crew at 5-0. That 88 crew went 85-76. The 1927 Yankees.
I was going to say, I was growing up and that was right in my pocket, 88. I don't remember that.
Yeah, they weren't really anything of note, that team.
Donnie Baseball was.
Yeah.
Fans around these parts in this building, you've been here all morning, very excited Yankee fans with their 5-0 start. And in recent years, you and I have sat here, Joel, and you've made basketball comparisons, right? If Judge is injured, if he's not playing, it cripples them. Are we still there?
So they really were a two-man team, especially last year, Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge. We saw when Judge went down with his foot injury, with his toe injury, the offense, which wasn't great, completely fell apart. The Yankees were 23-10 when Garrett Cole started last year. They were 59-70 when he wasn't. And if I were looking for reasons to be encouraged about a 5-0 start, none of them are by Garrett Cole. Right? They've gone around the rotation once. They have a total of a 2 ERA. Part of it is the bullpen has pitched well, but all 5 starters have done a good job at keeping them in the game. And through 5 games, we have not seen the best of Aaron Judge. But the idea of adding Juan Soto was to give a co-star in case, especially to team with Judge. But if he wasn't at his best or if he was injured, Soto essentially has been a 5-game MVP. He's been the best he could be. And there's just been a lot of other things that are really good about their offense early. Just so much more left-handed diversity after about a decade where they didn't have that. And I'll just note this, Anthony Volpe worked on his swing all off season. So impressive. He got 4 hits yesterday. Last year, he was a real pull monster. It led to high strikeout totals. 3 of them were from center to right field yesterday. Of the 4 hits, I think that's the way he's hit so far in the first week of the season. If he continues to do that, it bodes well that maybe the Yankees will have another high-level hitter in the lineup and a young one who doesn't cost a lot of money, which might make it easy to afford Soto on the back end.
Yeah, the guys were saying he just looks different so far, does Anthony Volpe. Does Soto change the complexion of the lineup to the extent that we were talking about yesterday? Is it just the patience and the power to all fields? What is it, Joel?
So I'm going to really go deep and long just because I'm an old man, Lauren. And I remember when the Yankees were terrible in the early 90s, Stick Michael, who became the general manager in 1990, way before Moneyball, and people really didn't talk about on-base percentage. He talked about, we do not grind at bats here. We have too many 7 and 8 pitch innings offensively and make it easy for the other team to get off the field. We have to get grinders. And that started with players like Mike Stanley and Mike Gallego, and then eventually turning Roberto Kelly, who wasn't patient, into Paul O'Neill, who was, signing Wade Boggs even late in his career, who really knew a ball from a strike. And it all worked with the whole team. Everyone was like, oh, if I like grind the at bat, it became very much hit strikes. And I could just see it early this offseason. Again, it's 5 games. Right? The last time the Yankees were under 500, they began the season 6-0 in 1992, finished 10 games under 500. So you always want to keep it You hate the negative. I'm just pointing stuff out to you.
had to say it.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out I'm old. I'm pointing out Stick Michael stories from
I got it, and I
1992.
love the story.
Anyway, I think they were back to being a real grinding team and forcing the other team to throw it over the plate. And I do think Soto's influential in that area.
I was with the Yankees, Joel, in spring, and it was great vibes. And you worked your way through camp and documented, I love this, the wow in a good way and the wow in a bad way. What wowed you in a bad way? I'm so curious.
So I reached out to about like 50 scouts and executives, and that was the question I asked, which was, tell me your wow moment this spring for good and tell me your wow for bad. And one of the ones that stood out, and it stands out now after that opening Yankee series, was one scout who I really like said to me, watch out for the length of the Astro bullpen. It is not good. You know, they went out and got Josh Hader, who's one of the best relief pitchers in the world. But conversely, they lost Kendall Graveman for the season with shoulder surgery, and Static, Nerys, and Phil Matan all left to be a free agency. That was 262 games. Look at this. This was how they got the ball to that great late trio of, Presley and Abreu, and Nerys was part of it last year. These guys got him the ball. Over the weekend against the Yankees, you saw it. Look, Abreu had some problems. Presley had some problems. Hader gave up a hit, but I expect those guys to all be terrific. But it's been a couple of years now since Rafael Montero has been good. They tried to get outs with Taylor Scott. It wasn't good. And they've gone multiple years without a good lefty reliever. You'd have to go back to like 2021, Brooks Raley, Blake Taylor. They were pretty good. They're trying it with Parker Mashinsky this year, and he wasn't good over the weekend. I wonder about that bridge. Now, if they're going to have a young kid pitch a no-hitter every night, they're not going to have to worry about
his eighth start. Think about that.
Start. And that's the thing is, the Astros during this run have figured things out. If you go look at, say, the 2017 team to where they are now, they've essentially changed over pretty much everything that's not Altuve, Bregman, and Verlander coming back, including GM office, manager office, and everything on the field. And they've continued to churn. I believe in the institution, but the scout who told me this is a really, really good scout, and it so stood out to me that first weekend when I'm watching them try to get outs between the starter and the end, and I'm like, this isn't very good. They're going to have to figure it out as the season goes on.
And coming off their first win of the year awards, we've given them out already, and they're always terrible. Yeah. I mean, we play these back in June, and we say, what the heck were we thinking? You and I were at the BBWAA Awards when Garrett Cole accepted his American League Cy Young, and you have a favorite for this year already, April, what is it, 2nd?
Yeah, so one of the things you have to recognize is since Garrett Cole's not going to miss at least 2 months, he's not going to repeat. Sonny Gray, who finished second, he's actually began the season hurt. He also got moved to the National League. Kyle Bradish finished 4th. He's begun the season injured. So we're probably going to have a new person move up. And I really settled on 2 people. One was George Kirby of Seattle, who his strike throwing is incredible. Since he showed up in May of 2022, he has a 3.3% walk percentage. It's the best in the sport for this period. Now, I know other people would like Logan Gilbert off his team or Luis Castillo, but the strike throwing with the stuff, with the durability stood out. And yet, I went with Tarek Skubal from the Tigers, who returned from surgery for his flexor tendon last Independence Day, last July 4th. Look at these numbers since July of last year, where he ranks. Here's the one that gave me some pause, Lauren. He made 15 starts to close last season. If you eliminate the Tigers, who he plays for, 10 of the 15 starts were against the 7 teams that scored the least in the major leagues last year. So 2/3 of his starts were against not very good teams. And my suspicion is when he threw 6 innings as we're seeing here on opening day this year, the White Sox aren't going to probably be very good. But you know that group of scouts I was talking to, who I was asking the wow good and the wow bad? I can't tell you how many of them said the wow good was watching this guy's stuff in spring training. And it kind of, as I was trying to do the Kirby, Skubal, Kirby, it really pushed me in one direction.
The Tigers are going to be good. They're in Flushing, Queens tonight, weather permitting. You're about to go as well.
Flushing, Queens, weather permitting.
How many times have we had nickel? Sherman, thanks so much. Coming up.
There is a speed bump on the front. There is a speed bump on the front.